In that moment, the judge questioned if I had more to say. I rose, keeping my hands composed. With a strategic motion, I pushed an envelope towards the polished table, reminiscent of a decisive chess move. He unfolded it, read it once, then again. A resounding, surprised laughter filled the courtroom, which had been years in the making. My parents tensed up, my soon-to-be ex turned pale, and my sister ceased her smile. That sound was the culmination of 6 long years. It began at our graduation, where I recall the scorching heat, flimsy chairs, and the mix of sunscreen and aspiration. I spent those 6 years working night shifts, preparing lunches, making silent concessions. I laid the foundation, he soared. As they called his name, I was the first to applaud. When he left the stage, he didn't acknowledge me. Instead, he approached my younger sister. He kissed her intentionally, without confusion or haste. "She's my true soulmate," he declared, beaming like he had unveiled a trophy. Everyone needed to understand, my mother breathed out, then smiled. My father gave a small nod, appearing relieved. "At last," my mother uttered. "Move aside, Laura, let him be content." A metallic taste filled my mouth. At that moment, something within me grew still. I encountered him when all he had was appeal and financial obligations. They praised his intellect, his future. I held faith in potential as if it were a religion. I covered tuition fees, rent, and groceries. I took on extra shifts and swallowed my bitterness with tepid coffee. He referred to me as his support. I didn't realize he meant disposable. My sister came to stay for a while. She laughed boisterously at his humor, borrowed my sweaters, asked inquiries about our finances that she had no need of answers to. I observed the lingering silence when I entered rooms, the ignored messages, the locking of his phone. Subtle signs don't shout, they murmur. I uncovered evidence in a cloud storage he forgot to log out of. Messages, plans, jokes about me, about my patience and usefulness. I did not shed tears. I captured screenshots. Revenge isn't anger, it's self-control. I offered a smile during dinner. I covered the expenses. I celebrated his job offers, which I arranged discreetly through my connections. I allowed my parents to rewrite history at every gathering, and I recorded everything. Receipts, bank transfers, loan agreements he overlooked. The clause in our prenuptial agreement he never read because I drafted it and he trusted me. Prior to encountering grief, I consulted with a lawyer. I waited patiently. He filed for divorce as if bestowing a favor upon me. At the hearing, he held my sister's hand. My parents sat behind him like satisfied investors. He spoke of love, of honesty, of how I acknowledged that his affections had shifted elsewhere. When it was my turn to speak, I said very little. I asked the court to review this and handed over an envelope containing a timeline. Inside were 6 years of financial support, itemized with signed acknowledgments of loans, not gifts. A clause requiring repayment upon infidelity was also included. Documents showing when it began, as I was still covering his tuition costs. Proof of my sister's participation during her stay under my roof. The judge perused the papers, then chuckled. He rarely encounters such comprehensive evidence, he stated, dabbing his eyes, or such audacity. He turned to my husband, then my parents, and finally to my sister. "You self-funded your own replacement," he said. The laughter subsided. The verdict was clear-cut, full repayment, interest, legal fees. No spousal support for him. My sister was implicated in a civil suit for unjust enrichment. My parents' bank accounts were flagged as co-signers on loans they denied having. They objected. They wept. They looked at me with accusation. I met their gaze. I felt indifferent. Weeks later, I heard he had sold his car, that my sister had left the house, that my parents no longer responded to his messages. I did not rejoice. I sighed in relief. People believe revenge is boisterous. It isn't. It's exacting. It's deliberate. It bides its time until merriment echoes like fairness. I didn't annihilate him. I merely ceased supporting him. When he plummeted, I eventually departed, not as his foundation, but as myself.